Well, good evening, everyone. Hoping that we're online now. So if you're hearing me, if you can let me know. Uh, Welcome to our next installment of Gaelic Psalm Singing, um, Volume 4. So if anyone's tuning in, just so that I know, if you can let me know, so that I'm not talking to myself. Marianne, thanks, Marianne. Welcome to our next installment of Gaelic Psalm Singing. So what I was hoping to do tonight is I've had a few questions come in about grace notes and how to use grace notes. So I thought that I would go back to real basics and focus on the first line of Gaelic Psalm Singing, where we're introducing the grace notes. Hello, Rona. Evening to you. So I was thinking that maybe Martyrdom would be a good one to start with. So the basic melody of Martyrdom. So I'm assuming that you all have been listening or learning, because I'm focusing really on two tunes. I'm focusing on Kilmarnock and Martyrdom. And tonight I want to just do Martyrdom. And we'll go back over all these, both these tunes over the next few weeks. And hopefully I'm going to be introducing some guests in the future who will explain to us the way that they do these tunes, whether it's Martyrdom, St. David's, or whatever the tune is, so that people can realize that everyone is actually adding different grace notes to the tune. Now, some people, I was thinking about it today, I guess there are some people that will add very few grace notes to it. They'll just sing the basic melody very slowly. So they would do. I suppose, provided that we're hitting the main melody notes roughly at the same time, I think that'll work. So does it sound okay? Because I'm going to start playing the melodies and playing some actual ideas and showing to you the way that I do, or the way that I sort of work my grace notes in this particular tune, and compare them against the way someone else does them. So what I was going to do was maybe start off with the tune that we had last time of Martyrdom with Murdo MacLeod Stornoway presenting it. Okay, so that's the first line. So that is. Okay, so now I'm going to actually let Murdo and the congregation sing this, and then I'm going to press the actual main signpost notes and just hope that this comes through. Sometimes it's difficult to balance both of them. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to hear this. Okay, so hopefully, let me know if you're hearing that okay. So what we've got is Okay, so that is from the basic tune. Okay, let me play that again with the congregation doing it. Okay, well, you're hearing the balance. I'm not really sure if you're able to hear this along with the singing when it's going on. Okay, but what I'll do now is I'll sing along with the congregation. This is the way that I would join along with them. And that's what I'm actually wanting you to be able to do as you listen to a congregation. It's just, you just join along with them and have that basic tune. Da, 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 da. Okay. Let's try that again. I'll sing along with it this time. Okay, so that's Martyrdom, as sung in one congregation at one time. Now, let me now do another Martyrdom. This time, I'm trying to think, was it this? Okay, so this is a different congregation, I think. In a much, much higher key. Okay, but the idea is still exactly the same. It's the same tune. So. Okay, I'm hoping that you're getting the idea. Okay, Devine, Sutherland. Yeah, that's the tune, yeah. If you're wanting to actually go over the words, let's see if I can find them here. Know that the first two lines, I'll keep saying this, the first two lines are sung together as a congregation with the presenter starting the tune off. And then from the third line onwards, the presenter lines out or sings the next line and repeated by the congregation. So let me just go back to that again, see if I can find it. Okay, right. I think what I'll do now is let me just play the actual tune separate, and you can. I'll follow it. Hope you'll be able to follow this. Okay, so I'm hoping that you're following this, though, but I'm going to keep on doing this until someone tells me that they've actually got it and they're fine on it. Let me do the other tune and do exactly the same. So what I'm doing really here is I'm following roughly the congregation singing it, and also the presenter as he lines out or as he presents the line. Okay, now different key, but the same tune. Let's do it. Okay, so that's two examples there of the same tune, Martyrdom, sung to the same verses, Jean Troca am Yearning Ras, Psalm 57, but in two different keys. And if you noticed the presenter, two different presenters as well, and the presenter style is just slightly different between them. And this is very much a stylistic thing. No two presenters will line out. Now, the presenting line is something that we'll do in the future. We'll go over that as well. But I think the main thing really to establish, first of all, is the congregation, because ultimately it's the congregation that is Gaelic psalm singing. All the voices mixed together and everyone doing their own thing at the same time, still having the basic melody in their heads, but decorating it with the grace notes. Now, are you all happy so far? Can someone let me know if there are any questions that you've got about anything that we've done so far? I'm purposely really going slow on this because for those of us who have been brought up with it all our lives, it's just so much part of us that we just do it automatically. But I'm very much aware that there are people that are hearing this for the first time, or maybe are interested in it and want to know exactly what makes this so different. And what makes it different is the fact that everyone is singing their own individual style of grace notes. Now, the way that I would do the grace notes is different from the way anyone else would do it. I suppose for me to learn how to do it, or for me to teach people how to do it, there is a bit of a problem, the fact that you could be teaching someone to do it exactly the way that you do it. But that's the same with any type of music. I mean, if you're learning a guitar or learning from someone, what most musicians do is they will copy someone, the way that they do it, someone they really like, and then over a period of time, they will develop their own style. Now, that's the way that I learned how to do presenting. I listened to people that I really liked, and then I would maybe model myself or sing the way the presenter would present certain psalms, and then eventually you develop your own you develop your own style. But getting back to the grace notes. So if I was, the way it's coming naturally to me is sorry, that's wrong. Okay, now, can I do it slightly different? I'm so used to doing it that if I was going to do it slightly different, let's say, so that goes from let me do that again. From to Now, that's the way that I do it, or would do it naturally. One of the things that I would really like us to be able to do later on, once we've got these tunes, because we could easily start doing loads of other tunes. We've got plenty to choose from. But I think it's important for, especially those who are learning this for the first time, to just focus on 2 tunes, or even 1 tune. And tonight is just Martyrdom. And one of the things that I would really like to do is for me to actually do a recording of it. And what I think would be really good, if you're willing and you're happy to do it, is that I would play the recording of exactly what I'm doing just now. I mean, and then what we could do is you could listen to it, and while I'm actually singing it, you could sing along to me onto your phone. And then you could send it to me, and I could then put all the voices together, and we would have a online congregation. I think it's worth trying. Some people haven't tried this, but some people are of the view that because Gaelic psalm singing is going so slow, that it's possible for us to actually do something live. I'm not convinced of that, because I still think the latency problem that you have, say between ourselves and America or Australia or wherever it is, the latency is the sort of delay that you have, would make it very difficult to actually do that live. I think it would just come out as a sort of a noise. But I'm willing to try something, because the thing about doing this in isolation is that it's not really Gaelic psalm singing as we know it. The whole thing about Gaelic psalm singing is the fact that we do it together. It's a communal singing in a church where you just, the experience of actually doing it together. Now, one of the things that I could do is to take someone down here with me. In fact, I might actually do that over the next, maybe the next time or time after that, where I bring someone else in, maybe someone in their own family, because of the restrictions that we're under at the moment. And maybe I could do Martyrdom, and I could get Belan to sing Martyrdom her own way, show the differences between the two of us, and then we could then sing together, just to show what it's like when 2 people are actually singing together. Now, I think the Martyrdom example that I gave here shows, I think, people singing definitely off with each other, if you listen to it. You can hear that in the background, people ahead or behind. Okay, now, John was wanting me to put the music for Martyrdom on again. John over in New York. So this is really the basic tune, John, that we've got here. Let me sing it. Dun, 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 dun. Let me actually do this in the key. So this is it. Gian trocedorum aianangras. Gian trocedorum gachre. Olanutsa Haman trug akuragoi gulir. It's really important, I think, for adults to know the tune. Children are different. They will pick up the whole thing with grace notes and everything if you teach them. I used to do this in schools with the Gaelic medium classes. And I learned very quickly that they're totally different from the way adults would do it, because they found it quite confusing, giving them the tune first, the basic tune like I've sung there, and then adding the grace notes to it. The way that they much prefer is to actually give the whole thing, including grace notes. Of course, the downside for that is that they would be doing a clone of me. So they would be singing exactly the way that I would do it. So I think it's really important. So that's fine, John. Let me know if there's anything else that you want me to go over, because I'm wanting really these lessons to be just short so that we don't end up tiring you out. And you can always go back on them again and look. Let me just check, Nolan. Are there any recordings of people singing these alone at the proper speed with grace notes? I think something like that would help me figure out the bones of the tune and the logic behind the grace. Well, I think the closest, Nolan, to that is the recordings of the MacDonald sisters on the School of Scottish Studies, which the two sisters from the west side of Lewis, they were recorded. These recordings were done way back in the 60s, and it's just two sisters singing together, one of them doing the presenting and the other one doing the congregation. Of course, the two of them doing the congregation together. But the thing about these recordings, bear in mind that they were putting a huge amount of grace notes in there. So it's really, I suppose it works out differently for everyone. I'm open to suggestions for what would be easier for you to learn. But I think from my own experience of doing psalmody classes, the way that we actually learned them, although we really had them in our heads, but when we did psalmody classes going way back to my youth, I think a lot of the tunes that we actually did in the psalmody classes were tunes in addition to the Gaelic tunes. But we'd certainly learned how to do them the way, exactly the way like this. You know, we would have followed the I'm getting a wee bit. Yeah, so I mean that's the way that we would have learned them, following the actual notes themselves as they're actually done, or the music. I mean, even if you don't really read music, what you need to do is just commit it to memory. And, you know, if you go over it often enough and listen to the tune, you don't have to really be able to play the thing. I mean, I can, all right. And then if we're in the key that Murdo MacLeod presented in, Gian trocedaram agian angras, Gian trocedaram. Now, even that note there, we would slightly alter it. We would stick pretty close to it, but we would actually slightly alter it. And there are some notes in some tunes, and if we got time in the future, we could go over a tune like Stornoway, where there's a note that's sung in English, but we actually bend that note and don't actually sing that note exactly in the sort of Gaelic equivalent. So let me just go over this a couple more times for you so that you can... So English, or the way that it would be done in the English Psalter, would be Gian trocedaram agian angras, or the Lord's my shepherd, I'll not want. Sounds fine in English, sung at that pace, the Lord, but in Gaelic, Gian trocedaram agian angras. Let me try now. Gian trocedaram agian. Okay, once more. Gian trocadora o magiana angra. Now, I've noticed even my own ears tell me that I'm out of tune there. Okay, but in Gaelic psalm singing, as an overall sound, the fact that someone is not actually dead in pitch, I think also adds to it. So we've got, not only are people coming in at different times, okay, so that even though it's a melody we're singing, because people are coming in and hitting these notes at a different time, it creates a harmony. So you've got that, and the other thing that you've got is you've got that everyone is not singing dead on in pitch. Okay, so you've got the pitch is slightly off. So from a musician's point of view, it should sound like a noise and a horrible noise, but that's not the way it works out. I'll finish off with this. I think one of the things that you notice, if you've ever sort of seen people singing at a concert where maybe a couple of thousand people are actually singing, it's amazing how overall the whole thing sounds in tune. The singer is up on stage and he's singing it and he's getting the audience to sing and get the overall sound is more or less in pitch, because there's enough people actually on the pitch that are offsetting the ones that are slightly off it. So I think in a similar way, I think that's the way Gaelic psalm singing works. But I'm sure there are plenty of people that would like to look into that. And so I think we'll call it a night there. Hopefully, God willing, I'll be back again next Tuesday at the same time for another installment. And as we progress, hopefully I'm going to be able to take other people to be involved to make it easier. So during the week, if you let me know and send me a message, let me know if there's anything at all that you're not sure of. I'm more than happy to go over it and at the next time that we meet together. I'm happy to go over any questions that you've got, because we're wanting to try and see if we can keep this unique music singing style alive, because it's so precious to so many of us. We were brought up with it. And until we meet again, every blessing to you all. Bye just now.